approaching sunset. Traffic southbound number 3 lane. Exiting at sunset. Traffic exiting at sunset. We'll notify LAPD.
911, what's your emergency? This is how can I help you?
911 emergency, what do you report?
Welcome everybody back to another episode of We Speak Dispatch. Do I speak at all? I don't know. I'm having an issue. Wow. All right. Maybe some more coffee in the morning. Anyway, we've got our usual suspects. We've got Doug, we've got Joe, and we've got a special guest, Ben, here. And today we are talking about schedules, one of the most important things that happens in the dispatch center across the country. I don't care if you've got 400 dispatchers or 4 dispatchers, everybody's always talking about scheduling. But specifically this time, we're going to talk about vacation signups.
Oy.
And for those of you who may not be familiar with vacations, there's those things where you actually don't go to work for a while. So let's go. Joe, tell us a little bit about your vacation signups and how does that work at your agency?
We put them out January 2nd. We put them out to each shift. So we have 3 set shifts, a day shift, an afternoon shift, and a midnight shift. And they pick in order of seniority by their shift.
Okay.
And so they can pick down to minimum staffing for vacation picks. And we do 10 rounds of vacation picks. Because we put it in there that they can pick 1 day for a vacation pick. Your vacation pick can be between 1 day and 15 days at the most. So the most you can take is 3 days, but whatever you pick has to be consecutive. So you can't pick July 4th, Christmas, and then here's my 15 days. That doesn't work. It has to be consecutive days. So 1 day up to 3 weeks of time off, and then it goes to the next person. But an interesting thing for us is you can only have the vacation pick sheet for 24 hours.
So what if I'm off duty at the time vacations go up?
Yeah, absolutely. They call you at home.
Ah, all right. Doug, what
Well,
about
if you're on a
what was-
cruise ship,
your-
and you can't. But, I was going to ask you if somebody signs up for just 1 day of the week,
Yeah.
can I come along and sign up for every other day of the week that they didn't sign up for?
As long as they were consecutive. If it was in the middle of your week, you could only sign up for like Monday, Tuesday. You'd have to wait till the next round to sign up for the Thursday, Friday if their pick was right in the middle of your week.
Somebody light some torches. We got to go over there.
No kidding.
Wow. We did ours on seniority. We would post it always. Our policy said it would come up the first week of October of every year. It would come up with all the available vacation weeks. There were some that were taken away, like some holidays were taken away to just 1 slot instead of having 2. We'd have just 1 because it's staffing issues. We cannot go below a certain number on a holiday. And not only that, I don't know if you have this or not, anybody else has this. We had some of our centers had the maximum, you can only sign up for 3 weeks at a time. Then it goes back up. And then even if you've got 20 weeks on the books, you can only sign up for like 3 weeks. And I always try to fight that because I'm like, if you saved your credits, why shouldn't you be able to sign up for 2 months? I mean, why not? They did it at our place. We had somebody signed up for a month every year. She'd sign up for a month. The entire month she'd take off. And it's like, why not? But I don't know if anybody else has that maximum number they can sign up for before it goes to somebody else. Because a lot of people are saying, I can't get any time if these people take all the weeks.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's what comes with being on a long time and saving your credits. So
Yeah.
that's why we did it.
So Ben, what about you? Tell us about your agency.
So ours is pick and choose whenever you want. There's no set like on this day at this time. We're going to start the bidding process. You can bid up to 2. I think we changed ours recently. Up to 2 years is how far out you can bid for.
Wow.
After that, you'd have to get the manager or commander's approval. So like, let's say you had a European trip that you were planning or budgeting for 3 years from now, or a wedding or something like that, then they could authorize further down the road. But what we were having is people were like taking, like Doug said, the people who would bid for that 3-week vacation. Well, somebody's like, well, I want to take vacation at the same time. So they would just jump ahead and bid a whole year or 2 years in advance to make sure they could get that same time off.
Wow.
So it was kind of creating animosity where people are starting to freak out over, I'm never going to get my time. So we kind of capped it at, you could bid for up to 2 years at any time. The only caveat we have is the holiday season. You're not allowed to bid for it until the posting for our rotation for that is given out. And so like for us, it's like the beginning of August. one of the supervisors will email it, hey, on this date at this time, we will start taking bids for the holiday season. So basically from beginning of November till January 3rd or whatever,
Mhm.
you can now bid for it. If you got vacation on Christmas or Thanksgiving the year before and you bid for it again, if nobody else bid for it, you could get it again. But if somebody else did and you had it last year, that person gets it. Even if your bid was put in a day before theirs or 2 days before theirs, if somebody
Right.
else bid for it and you had it the year before, we give preference to not letting somebody kind of take that as theirs.
Who keeps
Right.
track of those bids for, and how many years do you have to keep track of that?
It's like basically, since we're only bidding out for 2 years, you can kind of very easily keep track of like a 2-year stretch. So, you know, like if I normally take a week after Christmas. That's kind of a family thing that we do. We visit my in-laws in Northern California. And so we take off. Well, I used to try and take Christmas, but then I was like, well, if I'm taking the days after, I'll give up Christmas to take the days
Right.
after, because typically most people are like, I'm not doing anything on days after. So I got away from getting in you take Christmas every year bit. Well, I take like the 26th through like the 1st. So then I'm not in that mix and other people get their Christmas day off. I kind of got lucky this year and I got Christmas free off because it was my normal rotation day off. So,
But see, our thing is you can't sign up for more than the time you have on the books or the
Yes.
time you accrue. Do you just let them sign up saying, maybe I'll have it by that time or not?
So because we have mandatory overtime in, we can actually budget out how much overtime you could accrue as well as your vacation leave up to that point.
So
So
do you have to take your mandatory in time or pay?
you can do it either way.
So if I take it all in pay, I won't have the time.
Well, our overtime bank gets cashed out no matter what in pay period. I think it's like 21.
Oh,
So they automatically, your overtime bank account gets zeroed out on pay period 21. So it's basically, they just didn't want to ever have the county getting, you know, somebody who sits there on a stockpile and then all of a sudden goes, you know, Jay, cash me out. And
Yeah,
all of a
cash
sudden
me
the
out.
county's going, I'm cashing out for how many hundreds of hours? It's like, so they cap it at that point. So you know that when that pay period's coming up, you either need to use it or you're going to get a really nice check that the government's going to love even more when they take out all the taxes on that
Absolutely.
plethora of overtime.
wow.
Wow. So our agency is a little bit different, I guess, because we sign up for 2 6-month rotations in a year.
Mhm.
So we do primary vacations in each one of those 6-month increments. So people can take up to 2 weeks off in each 6 months. It's all seniority based. And we're a smaller center, so we only allow one person on primary vacation at a time. So if Ben works Monday through Thursday and he's asked for those days off, and I work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I can still have that as my primary vacation. But if I'm underneath Ben because he's got higher seniority than I do, and I still work Monday through Thursday, I can't have that time. We also have a limit, and we've talked about this before. So say I'm number 1 in seniority, and I want my birthday is Christmas Eve. And so I want that week off, and I'm number 1 in seniority. If by my not being there on a holiday creates overtime, which it would depending on our staffing, then I still have to come in on that day. So I can have the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th off, but Christmas, since it's a holiday, I got to be there. And then I can have the 26th, the 27th, and 28th.
What if you were
So-
going on a cruise and you weren't going to be
Well,
in
you don't-
town?
Well, you know that going in, because what we figured, because we are a smaller
Golly.
shop, is that people would sign up for a shift knowing that, say, Christmas falls on a Wednesday this year, or, you know, Thanksgiving's on Thursday. So they would sign up to work the weekends, so they would automatically have Wednesday and Thursday off. But if, say, Doug took that time as vacation and now we've got to order, and maybe I'm low in seniority. Oh, guess what, Leslie? You now have to work Thanksgiving. Oh, guess what? You now have to work Christmas. Well, hold on. I signed up for my shift specifically so I could have the holidays off. So that's why we said, no, we're not going to mandate somebody on the holidays.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
It,
Ouch.
it works.
So
Yeah.
to piggyback off yours, Leslie, so right now on our old schedule, when you're on 410s, we really only can let one person off, maybe 2 off at a time, because we
Right.
had overlapping shifts. When we went to
Mhm.
12s, a lot of people complained. I said, well, here's the difference. When you're on day shift, you're only bidding against anybody else who's on your same day shift. If you're on night shift on the same day, you're free and clear because we don't affect each other's staffing. So
Right.
now we can have 2 off every day, maybe more, depending on, if somebody gets backfilled or somebody fills in overtime. So it actually allowed us more opportunity for people to get days off than when we're on
Right.
the other schedule. So it was kind of a catch-22. People were like, oh, I hate working longer, but I was like, you got more opportunity for vacation than you previously ever had.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that worked for
And
us as a trade-off.
we might have
What
to look at that because it is, we do have the problem with, people on the lower side of seniority are, oh, well, I guess I'll take June 5th
April
through the
9th.
9th off. Woo,
How do you guys handle vacation cancellations? So say I took July 4th or Christmas, whatever. Doesn't have to even be a major holiday. I took 3 weeks in the middle of summer and now my plans fell through. I don't want it. I want to give it back. Who gets, and now we're +1 staffing or whatever, who gets to bid those days off? Do you guys have to repost them, or how do you go about filling a vacation cancel? What do you guys have to do to fill that?
Ours is on a schedule. We have an entire vacation calendar. So
Yeah.
for instance, everybody wants Christmas, right? So our Christmas day, you'll see on the calendar for the vacation calendar, there's 6 deep, 7 deep on people who want it. So 1 and 2, maybe 1 and 2 got it, and maybe 2 decided they don't need it anymore. So now we go to number 3. Now 3, if that's your working day and you want it, you're now the next one up to get that shift. So we have it. So if anytime somebody cancels a vacation day and there's somebody else who wants it, we already have a time stamped. This was the next person up. They bid for it on this date and time. So they're the next one to get the opportunity.
And do you do that for all days of the year or just the major holidays?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. Because especially like when you talk about like the summer and like people take off for like summer vacations and things like that. And so maybe some families, like I work with 3 other people who we all have kids in the same school district. So we're always asking for the same time off when the kids are out of school,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
there's some matching days that we're all looking for. So, maybe I'm taking week 1 in July, but the other one's deciding they're doing their vacation in week 2, but maybe I decided I wanted longer. So we have an overlap on those. So if our schedules overlap, one of us may not get the days and we have to work a trade, or we both get it.
For us, we repost the vacation, but the way it gets signed, so they come in, they cancel, we repost it to the people on that shift. But the way it fills is in order of seniority from where the list was. So if I'm like 3rd in seniority and I'm the one that canceled, the first person that has seniority on those days that were reposted is number 4 on the list. And it goes 4, 5, 6, however many people on the shift, then back to
Back up
1,
to the top.
and then back up to the top, because people were canceling vacation picks and the senior most person always got it. And everybody came and said, well, wait a minute. They always get every vacation cancel because nobody else can put in for it. So we now want to do this tiered list of who can sign up for it. So you have to look at who canceled it, where they're at on the shift, and then go down from them and then back up to the top for that vacation cancel.
Wow.
And we wonder why scheduling is such a big deal in our comm centers, because it's like this monster thing that you have to look at all the time.
Did you ever have anybody, like, we've had this occur a number of times, where somebody will take an entire week vacation, because ours come in slots, weeks. You can take the Sunday through Saturday week. That's our vacations are like that. But somebody will take a pretty prime week like that, but then they'll come in and say, look, I really don't need all that week. I only need like 2 days of that week. And so we're like, okay, but we don't repost because that's a week vacation.
Right.
So people
Right.
always get like really ticked off going, they're doing it on purpose. Just pick the days off so they can be off those days. And it's like,
I'll tell you what we did, Doug, to combat that, because this is interesting, is our agency got tired of that as well. So if you cancel in less than 30 days before your vacation pick, so it's now 20 days away, and you didn't give more than 30 days notice, you lose your first choice vacation pick the next year.
oh, wow. Golly.
Wow.
Man.
Unless it was like a medical or extreme circumstance.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, do
Wow.
y'all have any, because somebody mentioned July 4th, do y'all have any mandatory deployment days where nobody can take vacation? Like July 4th is a mandatory deployment day for us, but so nobody can have time off. So is New Year's Eve, because
We limit it down to 1. We usually have 2 slots for everything, but we'll take it down to 1 slot for Christmas, you know, the holidays and 4th of July, stuff like that, because we know we're gonna have to have people because people are gonna go nuts. So
Yeah.
it just drops down to 1. And that gets kind of contentious too, because people are like, I only want the holiday off. I'll
Yeah.
give back the rest of the week. And everybody's like, son of a gun. That's-
So
We have
I have-
two special events. We have 2 special events in our area that occur, one around Halloween and one in like the spring. And those are a department-wide blackout period where
Mhm.
you have to get command staff level approval for you to take leave during that time, because it's a all hands on deck type of operations.
Right.
So during those time periods, for the week leading into Halloween, for instance, that whole week is blacked out. And so they'll just say no vacations. Now, if you were to go to a training or something else like that, then there's authorizations, but you couldn't bid for a vacation during that time frame unless you got the commander to say, okay, we can agree to that.
even if it's like that 2-year in advance thing, because it's always at about the same time every year.
Yep.
Wow.
Who
Yep.
knew you could
Those
sign
are
up
just
for
those are
2
the two
years out?
blackout. Those are the 2 blackout ones that are department wide that you just know that those are the blackout periods. So you can put in the request. It may get declined, and that's just a reality. But those are only 2 real blackout ones. We try and, you know, when it comes to the other holidays, you know, if 2 people bid for it, we might just say only one of you is going to get it. We're not going to attempt to fill a second slot because it's too hard to fill on that holiday anyway.
So you just have those
Right.
2 people like wrestle for the thing and like.
Or the second person on the list got to try and work a trade,
Oh,
find somebody who's
man.
extra help to come work the shift for
Right.
them.
But when you're signing up for 2 years, and I asked you earlier about what if you don't have enough credits? What if they do initially, but as we get closer, they just don't have the credits?
If you don't have enough time, the vacation request can be rescinded.
Wow.
So if you don't have enough time on the books and we get it, we can be like, you don't have enough hours and you will not accrue enough hours by this point.
So what happens to that vacation slot? Does it reopen?
We'll let them know, like, you had the first bid in, but you only have enough hours. You only have 4 days worth and you asked for 10. So pick the 4 of that 10 that's most important to you and put in for it, or wait until you get closer to bid for it again. But we're not going to allow you to take more time than you are
But then
capable
somebody
of.
else who signed up can take those other days that they didn't get,
Correct.
unless
Those
you're at
become
Leslie's
open.
place and you get denied. But
Well, and one of the reasons that we did the limited signups that we do is because not only are we looking out for the person who obviously wants vacation, but the ordering behind it too, because when we post overtime, if say Ben just wants next Thursday off because whatever, okay, if it doesn't create overtime, you're good. If it creates overtime, we'll post it, but if nobody signs up for it voluntarily, you don't get the time off.
dang.
We only mandate to primary vacation, which is why we do the whole sign up thing and stuff like that. So that limits our overtime expenditure quite a bit, because if nobody signs up for it, sorry, Ben, you know, even though, like, say you want the entire 12 hours off, but there's an overtime coverage that needs to happen between, say, 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the afternoon, nobody signs up for that. Okay, well, you can have, you know, 05 to
God.
1 o'clock, but then you got to be here. So,
Mhm.
because we got to look out for the overtime budget as well.
Wow, that's crazy. So enjoy your vacation. See you at 5. You're gonna work 5 to 9.
For 4
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah,
For
4
Yeah.
hours.
But we are uniformed. So if you work overtime at my shop, you don't have to wear your uniform. And let me tell you,
Oh,
if
wow.
somebody comes in 30 minutes early for an overtime slot or an hour early, they're plain clothes. They're like, hell yes, I'll take that slot. It's not like we're making them wear metal pants, but something about wearing jeans is like, okay, sure, whatever.
Wow.
All right,
It's a good
Jeez.
perk.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a-
That's
Yeah.
nice. Wow.
it helps.
Okay.
Well, vacation and all of that stuff is such a huge, huge deal. And gosh, just the number of varieties of how people sign up at the 4 agencies that we're talking about is so significant. I really, you know, you talk to dispatchers across the country, and this is one of their number one things they talk about. What schedule are you on? How do you sign up for vacations? It's a tough one.
Always.
It's always nice to
Always.
ask. It's always nice to hear other people's though. So you can sometimes go, yeah, we don't have it so bad. Or
Yeah.
wow, that's really cool. Let me see if there's a way to make it work for me. Like when we did our schedules, I asked around a ton of people, like, what do you do at your place? How does it work for you? So I could look at pros and cons for everything. So if I made an opinion or an approach to like a schedule change for us, I came in with some education to be like, hey, this agency does it this way. They're pretty similar. This might work.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to go
around
back
for sure.
now and look, Ben, like you're talking about day shift and graveyard, because we're on 12s as well. They don't really overlap. So why can't we have 2 off?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hmm.
Woo, well,
Wow.
that's the vacation.
I wish I was still at work. I want to do
discussion.
the 2-year sign up.
Yeah. So everybody out there listening to We Speak Dispatch, how do you do it? What do your vacation signups look like? How does that work? We would love to hear, because there's got to be more variety. So let us know, put a comment down in the Facebook or Instagram. Joe, tell us where we can hear all of these wonderful things and people can share their info.
Absolutely. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter at We Speak Dispatch. And we are on several podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, and all of the other major ones. But I'm going to kick it over to Doug for a special mask announcement as well.
Yes,
Well,
Doug.
If you've got our decal, and if all you had to do to get a decal is just send us an email and say, hey, I want to get a decal, and we'll send you one of our fan club decals, which you still could. You still could send us an email. We'll send it to you right now. But here's the deal. In just a short period of time, we're going to have an offer coming up that if you've got a decal, we want to see where it's at. We want to see the picture. You're going to have to do a couple of other things to get one of our really limited editions, and they're very cool. Well, our new masks, look at that. Yes, we got multiple colors and all
awesome.
kinds of things. It will be awesome. So you'll want one of these. We put up some pictures on Instagram, and we've already got people saying, how do we get one? Where do we buy one? Well, guess what? You can't buy them. These are a special limited edition only. So you need to get it from us. So you need to get a decal. If you've got one, send us a picture of where you got that decal placed, and we'll be glad to consider giving you one of our masks. That's the way. That's pretty easy.
Awesome.
There you go.
Well, have a wonderful shift. See ya.
Yes. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Hey, this is Jill, and you've been listening to another great episode of We Speak Dispatch, proudly sponsored by our friends at Zybex.
Down approaching sunset. Traffic south